This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Okay, so Trump commuted the sentence, the federal sentence, of drug kingpin Larry Hoover. And Kanye thanked Drake for helping Larry Hoover come home by when they did that free concert that went towards the lawyers and everything that needed to be paid to get the case, to get it through. You know what it is. Words can't express my gratitude for our devoted enduring President Donald Trump for freeing Larry Hoover is what Kanye said. So he's not free yet. He still has a state murder charge, but we'll get to that later. All right, so let's get back into this Diddy trial and finish this up. We left off with... hold on one sec. Mr. Ancolfino, objections, Combs, improper. Okay, Jimenez. I reached out to an assistant. Okay, we got that. Then we got Comey. Here we go. Okay, so we left off with that stylist. They came back. They've been back. Witness Nash brought back in. This is the stylist, right? The government goes back in on asking the stylist some things. Says, we want to show Nash a photo of the afternoon's witness, Mia, without the screen in the gallery showing the photograph. Judge says, bring back in Mr. Nash and the jury. All rise. Okay, so Combs says, how many times in person have you witnessed Mr. Combs be violent? He said, quite a few. This is a sealed exhibit without saying her name. Do you recognize this person we'll call Mia? Yes. What were you and Mia helping Cassie pack for? The OVO Fest in Canada. Who came to the door? Nash says, Puff. He says, Biatch, didn't I tell you to answer your phone? Then he dragged her by her hair and hit her. Government said, how hard was he hitting her? And then they said, objection, overruled. Nash says, very hard. We ran into the bedroom, but Puff pushed it open. He continued to attack Cassie with his fists. What did you do to try to help Cassie? I jumped on Puff's back. He threw me off. Mia, too. Nash says, Cassie's head hit the bed frame. She was bleeding, but Puff continued hitting her. Where was Mia? Getting towels. When did Mr. Combs say to you and Mia and Cassie? He says, look what y'all made me do. He said she'd go to a plastic surgeon. With who? D-Rock. He was Puff's security. After that, when did you see her? The next day, FaceTime or something like that. She had a gash in her eyebrow. Were you once cooking with Cassie and Mr. Combs got violent? Yes. Puff came. What did Mr. Combs say? This is crazy, bro. Diddy's like a real abuser, bro. He's nasty. So what did Mr. Combs say? He says, y'all better get out of my house. He was grabbing her by the hair. He pushed her out the door and began to do the same to me. But I don't have hair. He popped me. He told me to go downstairs and wait. They came down and Puff was berating us. As we drove off, we got a phone call. Combs, lawyer says objection. New question. From who? Puff. He told us to stop and came to the window. He said he'd put her tapes out on the internet if we said anything. Then he said he'd sent her tapes to the parents to get them fire. Wait, he said he'd send her tapes to her parents' jobs to get her fired. What? That her brother was a bitch. What is this? That he'd protected her. Diddy. Government says, what did you tell her? The Puff, that Puff's on the tapes too. She says he is not. He was taping. Oh my gosh. Government says, what did she say about, not wanting to have sex with other men? Objection. Nash says, she didn't want to. I drove her to Sunset Boulevard to get a taxi. Why? Uber wasn't really a thing yet. Nash then said, Puff came to my house looking for her. He looked at my oven. I'm not sure why. Puff took my phone. Cassie called from a hotel, and Puff said, let's go there. Bad boy staff stayed there. Government says, what did Mr. Combs say? He said, go get her. Nash says, I went to Cassie's hotel room with D-Rock and Tony. She jumped up and she was frightened. She says she would jump off the balcony. How high was it? It wasn't the first floor. Downstairs, I saw 4 or 5 Puff security waiting. Nash says, Puff told me you played me. I drove off, but Puff security followed me. I turned off my lights and drove really fast. I went to Universal Sheridan. Did you go home the next day? Yes. I found my backpack was stolen. I had $1,000 in it. Why did you keep $1,000 cash? So when Puff was mad, I could check her into a hotel without giving my name. What happened in 2015? I saw Puff slap Cassie in the face. He said, get this bitch out of here. What'd you do? I got her out. The Perfect Match premiere. What did you see? Cassie with a black eye. When was Mr. Combs violent with you at a music video? Nash, yes. I was outside smoking a cig. Puff came and threw me on the car and started choking me out. Puff says, y'all keep going out. Did you report anything to the police, the government asked? No, I was afraid of retaliation from Puff. Did you get anyone on staff? He says, yes, Christina Coram, KK. What did you say? That she would talk to him. Did anything change? No. Government, how often did you help Cassie hide? Often. Government, what did Mr. Combs do? He would blow up our phones. KK would too. She would say Puff was calm. Cassie could go back. Government says, did Cassie tell you she was going to a hotel with Mr. Combs? Yes, weekly. She would pack sex toys. Government, did she say that she wanted to go? Combs, Donald's objection, overruled. Nash said, she said she didn't want to go. Government, her 29th birthday, tell me. Puff asked me, should he surprise her on her birthday? What did you say? I said, girl, I was not about to tell him not to surprise her. Did she use the word freak off with you? Not like freak off, more like freak off. Like a verb. Yes. Where did you go after Blind Dragon? 875 Comstock like 17A. Puff said, y'all going to get some D tonight. What did Miss Ventura say? That she didn't want to go. But he made her. They left the house. She was super high. New Year's Eve 2017. Where were you? Vegas with Cassie and the staff. All on the same floor of a hotel. Puff's room was at the end of the hall. Government, what did Mr. Combs tell you? That Cassie had been asleep for 24 hours. I had to wake her up. Did she wake up? She woke up for me. What did Mr. Combs say? That he'd spent all his money, so she had to. Then there was a low-budget producer. What? How many of your meetings with... Wait. Cassie had been asleep for 24 hours. I had to wake her up. Did she wake up? She woke up for me. Government, what did Mr. Combs say? That he'd spent all this money, so that she had to. Oh, okay. Then there was a low-budget producer. How many of your meetings with prosecutors did you... probably all of them. Did you stay in touch with Mr. Combs? Yes. What was your tone? Loving. Why? I don't hate him. It's not in me. No further questions. They break. All right, so before the jury comes back, the witness has a flight back to L.A. tonight. We'll rebook if we have to, but if he could stay a little later and finish with him, I know he'd appreciate it. Judge says, I think we can. I told the jurors we might stay till 4. Jury enters. We might stay until 4, Mr. Donaldson. Combs Donaldson says, how are you? Okay, so Diddy's lawyers are crossing Nash now, the stylist. When he met with the government, you had an attorney present? Nash says, yes. The subpoena didn't mean you had to go to their office. Right. You hired a civil lawyer, Mr. Dunn, to represent you. I'm considering litigation against Mr. Combs. No. Does this document show that? It's their assumption, but no, I have counsel to protect me. I don't do federal court, Nash says. Combs' lawyer says, on March 10th, 2025, did you not tell Miss Comey that you are considering a civil complaint against Mr. Combs? No. DX 1800, what is this? Cassie in the video for the mixtape. In 1801, Cassie and Usher. This is 2016 Bad Boy reunion show. Combs' lawyer says, did you pick the dress? Nash says, I don't remember. Donaldson to Combs' lawyer says, you didn't start as a celebrity stylist. It was Mr. Combs that introduced you to Cassie, right? Nash says, I met her, Mrs. Fine. Oh, wow. Combs' lawyer says, so it's Mr. Combs. Mrs. Fine is obviously, that's her new last name because she's married. Combs' lawyer says, so it's Mr. Combs who made you a celebrity stylist. Nash, sure, go ahead. Donaldson says, I am going ahead as a celebrity stylist. You pick the clothes like for Mrs. Fine's wedding? Yes. So Nash is still a stylist for Cassie. Do you know Groovy Lou? Yes, that's another stylist. That's a really famous stylist. I think he styled Biggie too. You always see him with a big, he has the, he's like a Rasta that hangs out with JadaKiss a lot. Still hung out with Diddy a lot. He's been around. Combs' lawyer says, as head of Bad Boy, it was Mr. Combs' interest that his artist Cassie looked good, right? Nash, I suppose. Donaldson. And Bad Boy paid for Cassie's studio time, right? Nash says, yes. Miss Ventura can't go to the studio unless Mr. Combs pays. What is Young and Reckless? Nash says, a streetwear clothing brand. Cassie owned part of it. Donaldson, Mr. Combs had nothing to do with it? Nash, he had to approve everything. Donaldson, wasn't Bina involved? Bryna Bungolan. I thought this was something that had to do with Rob Dyrdek, too. Young and Reckless. I don't know. Combs, Donaldson. Who else was styling for you who else were you styling in 2016? Nash says, Cassie, Puff, Mace, Lil' Kim. Major artist. And on the mixtape, you were executive produced but got no credit. Meek Mill was on the mixtape? Nash says, yes. Pusha T? Yes. Nash, can I take a break? Judge says, yes. Jury leaves. Judge, Mr. Donaldson, how much more? No way, I'll be finished by 4. Judge says, did you know that before I told the jury it'll be 4? I didn't know. Judge says, well, we'll go to 4. AUSA. The government says, we'll rebook his flight. Judge, break. Then it says, they're back. Combs Donaldson, nice coat. Nash says, thank you. Combs' lawyer says, what size? Not your size. Right answer. Mr. Combs was final decision making. Nash says, no. Some of them were terrible. Then Combs' lawyer says, you are friends with Miss Fine? Nash says, yes. Combs Donaldson, when was the last time you spoke to Bana? Nash, yesterday. Not about testimony, right? Nash, right. She saw it in the news. When you'd speak with Cassie, Nash says, yesterday. I congratulated her on having the baby. Combs Donaldson says, you saw her take drugs? Nash says, cocaine, ecstasy, MDMA. Donaldson, mushrooms and acid? Donaldson says, ask that, and Nash says, I'm not, privy to that. Combs' lawyer says, not to get into your business, have you used cocaine? Nash says, yes. Combs' lawyer says, you smoked pot in the meeting of prosecutors? Nash, yes. And Maureen cut it short. You told her you were high. Yes, I was smoking. Donald says, make a video costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. Nash says, not really. Combs Donaldson, who is Mia? Puff's assistant. You and Mia jumped on Mr. Combs to protect Cassie from him, right? And to protect him from doing something worse. Donaldson says, Combs' lawyer is Donaldson. And D-Rock tried to protect you and not protect Mr. Combs? Yes. Judge says, we're at 4 p.m. Who are the witnesses after Mia? We think she will go long, but after Enrique Santos. After today, Mr. Angolfino, give your exhibits by 5. Angolfino, we only got back to the office by then. And we think, Your Honor, could meet with Mr. Combs, the SCIF, here in the courthouse under Article 3 powers. We'd like SCIF every night until 10 o'clock. All right, so then they say, we're still ahead of schedule, but we might cut some witnesses, the government says. I think we'll rest in less than 6 weeks. We'd like to, in the second week of June, we might bleed over to the third week. I'll look at request charge. Adjourned. Well, that's that. Anyways, this is Jordan Tower with JT News. Kind of crazy. Diddy's crazy. We see that. And we'll check you on the next one. Peace.